Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a side-by-side comparison video using the beloved beauty blender that everybody loves and raves about, and I love it. It is my favorite way to apply pretty much all my makeup, well, not all my makeup, but foundations, concealers, any cream products, which I don't use much of, but it's a very good way to use it. And then the other half of my face is going to be a Silisponge. Now, Silisponge just came out on the market probably this year, towards the end of last year. It's pretty much just a silicone like makeup sponge. It's supposed to be more hygienic. It's supposed to be an easier application, and it's also supposed to be how do I say it, not wasteful like the beauty blender. The beauty blender, because it's a sponge and you wet it, it soaks up the water, but it also soaks up excess product. The Silisponge is not supposed to be like that. So this is actually not the original Silisponge. What came out was from Molly Cosmetics. They have the original Silisponge that came out on the market. These are just like a little dupe that I found from Amazon. It was cheap. It was like $5, $6. So I wanted to give it a try. So we're going to go ahead and compare both products and to see which one applies it better and just the difference in the two. So I think on this side of my face I'm going to use the beauty blender, and then this side of my face I'm going to go ahead and use the Silisponge. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So first I'm just going to prime my face a little bit, and this is just the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, which I love. It's such a hydrating primer. With the beauty blender, and this is a nice, I soaked the beauty blender so it's nice and moist and wet. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and with the L'Oreal Pro Glow Foundation. This is 209 and 208. I've been mixing it. 209 is a good color, but when I do bronzer and stuff it can tend to make me just a tad bit dark, so I like to mix it with the 208. So I'm just going to take that and a little bit of the 208 and mix it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on my face, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out with the beauty blender. And this is probably my favorite way to use that Pro Glow foundation because I really love the sheer look and the even dewy look it gives with the foundation and the beauty blender together. So the one thing with the beauty blender is because the bottom part is quite large, or not that large, but it's quite big, that it doesn't take that long to actually blend everything out. So that pretty much blended out. It just looks natural. It gives it more of an even look. It doesn't look too cakey, it's not a full coverage, it's more of a medium to light coverage. And you can barely even tell like I have that foundation on. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and on the other side with the Silisponge, or the Silisponge dupe, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but I'm going to try not to put too much foundation on because it says that I don't need that much. Okay, so now I'm just going to put the foundation around, and almost the same amount, probably a little bit less than what I used with the beauty blender. Alright, so I'm just going to take the Silisponge. As you can see, there's nothing on it, and see how that works. Okay, so you definitely don't need that much because as you can see it's pretty much spreading quite a bit. Alright. So it didn't really absorb much of the product. As you can see, there's like nothing barely on this. So it really gives me more of a medium coverage on this side of my face because the Beauty Blender has absorbed some of the foundation on this side and it hasn't on this side. Because I have dry skin and this isn't wet or anything, you could see when I tried to, I don't know if you could see, but when I tried to spread it like up here, it's like I have dry skin here, so it's really like patchy and flaky up here. Like you could, it emphasizes a lot of the dry skin right here. Alright, so as you can see, there's again nothing left on this product. So if you compare it, you can see like there's makeup on the Silisponge, you can see, I mean, on the Beauty Blender, and you can see there's barely any makeup on the Silisponge. So this pretty much, it's just, it doesn't absorb any of it like any of the brushes, like the brushes do, or the Beauty Blender. It really does spread it out nice and evenly. I mean, it takes a little bit more effort, I think, and that's also because I put like almost the same amount of foundation on this side as I did on this side, and it doesn't really require that much foundation. So you could see that I have more of a, what is this, a heavier coverage than this side. Personally, I like, let me go back. I don't mind the Silisponge. I actually do like it because you don't need that much product. It blended nice. It gives you more of a coverage. It's not soaking up the product. The only thing I don't like about the Silisponge is because it's not wet like a Beauty Blender or even like a regular brush. It's like emphasizing all those dry patches that I have on my skin because I have dry skin. So you can see up here that I have some dry patches. And then I don't know if you could see, like around here, you can kind of see the dry patches around here. So, I really like the look of this side compared to this side because this doesn't have as much coverage on this side of my face where the Beauty Blender is. This side has more coverage. Overall, I think the Silisponge is actually a really good product, especially if you buy it for, you know, $5, $6. They have it on Amazon. They have quite a bit of dupes for it. You could probably find it a lot of places. It really does give you more of a coverage on the face. It does apply smoothly. For me, I think it's just the first time it takes a little more effort to blend it out, and that's also because I put more product than you really do need. You don't need that much product. So if you wanted a lighter coverage, you would actually do a lot lighter foundation. You wouldn't add that much. But other than that, it's a really good. For me, just personally, I think I would like the Beauty Blender just because it's more damp and moist, and because I have dry skin, that it really adds a little more dewiness and to the face. But the only downside is it doesn't give you as much coverage as the Silisponge does, because of course this doesn't absorb any of the product and this does absorb quite a bit. But overall, they're both great products, so you guys go ahead and try it. I mean, don't knock it till you try it. You know, it looks weird, it sounds weird, but a lot of trends just come and go, and some things stick, some things don't. But you never know. You never know what you would like for yourself. So I would say go ahead and try it. It is a good product. It does blend nicely. It does, you know, put a good thick layer of well, not a thick layer, but a good layer of foundation. It doesn't absorb as much. So overall, it's a pretty good product. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and I shall see you guys in my next video. Bye!